What's going on? Welcome to Rider Eye. If it's your first time at the channel, welcome. Today we're going to talk about some things that your dealership probably did not teach you about your motorcycle when you went to purchase it. We're going to talk about security pins, we're going to talk about suspension, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. Let's get to it. So for the first thing let's talk about is going to be your suspension. So let's talk strictly soft tail suspension. Your breakouts, some of your other options you do have, your adjustment set out here on the side of your frame here to adjust how loose, however tight you want this bike to ride. Underneath the seats are going to be a monoshock suspension compared to the older style suspension on the soft tails with the dual shocks in the rear. With the single monoshock style suspension, you can adjust and however tight and however loose you want the suspension to ride on your soft tails. On your suspension, whether it's under the seat or on the side here, the higher the number, the tighter the ride's going to be, the stiffer the ride's going to be. The lower the number, the looser that ride's going to be. Pretty simple. Underneath your seat you have a spanner wrench and adjust it just like on your knob. Now the next piece is going to be how to set your security. You have to have your key fob on the bike, okay? Say the bike's brand new. When you go to set that pin, you got to have your key fob. Say you bought this breakout pre-owned and you don't know the security pin to the bike currently. It's very easy to change it and to set it when you have your key fob. Next thing we're going to talk about is just your layout on your dash, your controls, things like that with your 23s and down touring style bikes. We're talking road glides, street glides, limiteds, and things like that. So right hand side, just kind of go over it with you. You got your main switch, it's gonna be power switch. You got your main ignition. One click over is ignition mode. The next click over is going to be accessory mode, just like your truck or car if you want to listen to music in your garage, without having to worry about, run the battery down, put in accessory mode. On this side, you got your hazard button, which you can turn your hazards on. Start button. You got your back button for your screen. And then of course you got your right automatic turn off turn signal. And then your directional pad that's going to control your screen so you don't have to lean forward, touch the screen when you run down the road. On your left control, you got your highs and then you have your high button. So if you tap that, it's going to make your brights flash. Traction control. And then down here you got your horn, your voice command, which is going to allow you, if you have your comm set up, give your voice commands to your bike. And then you have your cruise control. To set your cruise control, you just push it in and it will turn the dash on. Push it to shut it off, push down to set it, and just like your truck or car, if you push up, it's going to increase it, down, it's going to decrease it. To turn off your cruise, you can tap your button. Easiest way though is grab that throttle and roll it forward, and that will shut the cruise control off for you. Now let's check out these 2024 bar controls. Everything like that's going to be same whether you're looking at a road glide or a street glide. They obviously changed up the clusters themselves a little bit differently. Now for me, it took me a minute to get used to this, but once I got used to it, it was actually more ergonomical and made more sense. So on your newer 24s, all you do is flip your switch here, and that will give the bike juice. If you want to put your 24 road glides or street glides into accessory mode, so you don't have to worry about killing the battery, all you're going to do is hold down your trip button here, and it will kick the bike into accessory mode, which is pretty cool setup here. Now on your right control, you got your main switch, which turns power on. You tap it, and that will start the bike. You got your hazard button, just like on the other option. Here you have your communications button. So if you have your comm set up, things like that, Bluetooth wise, you can control it here. Your audio, volume up, volume down, track control. Then on the bottom here, you have your turn signal, then your mode button. That mode button is going to change the bike throughout different ride modes, whether it's rain mode, highway mode, sport mode, or any other options you have set up for custom options. On your left controls, you have your directional pads. Now this is going to control everything that's on your screen. Again, just like on your older bike, with the controls down here. Push button here is going to be your select mode button. You got your horns, turn signal, back button for your screen. Then in your sandwich button, we call it. That's going to allow you to open up your settings and things like that on your bike to adjust things you want to change. Right here, you have your traction control button, turn on and off. You got your trip button and your cruise control set up here. Now, back here is going to be your high and low button for your lighting on the bike. Now, since we're already on the 24 here, I'll show you guys how to set your security. So go ahead and put your switch on. And so, like on your 23s we just showed you, you have to have your key fob. Same thing on your 24s, but you do not have to go through and hit buttons. Now once this is turned on, all you do is go to your settings. You're gonna go down to system info, change security pin, and then put your pin in, hit the button, and it's set. You don't have to go through and hit your switches and things like that. Now, if the bike, you lose your fob, something happens, and you want to go start the bike, main screen's gonna pull up, say enter pin, you put the pin in, and the bike will fire up for you. Now let's talk about what we call transport mode. It allows you to put the bike in a trailer and not have to worry about your security system going off because that bike's getting kicked around. On these 24s, it's very simple. All you do is turn your ignition on once, shut it off. You're gonna take your high button and your left turn signal, and you're gonna hold them at the same time. Now on your screen, well, truck's gonna come up with the trailer. that means this bike's in transport mode. The alarm will not go off for you. To take it out of transport mode, go ahead and flip your switch on, switch it off, and you're good to go. Something that a lot of people don't talk about, and I see a lot of people that say they don't understand how they work, things like that. Let's talk about the heel toe shifter. Now, of course, you're used to having your front. So 1 down, 5 up, depending on the bike. Obviously, between first and second, it's gonna be your neutral gear. Back here is your heel toe shifter. So instead of having to put your foot underneath and rocking up, all you gotta do is put your heel back, kick it, and that will put you into the next gear and not have to worry about back and forth. Some people like this, some people don't. It's one of those things I think you kind of got to get used to. Once you get used to it, it's kind of nice to have, especially finding them neutral on your bike, things like that. Makes it a little bit simpler. All right, I got a 24 limited here now. This is gonna work on your 23s and downs or your 24 style early model limited. This is how you put these bikes into transport mode, just like we showed you on the 24. So all you're gonna do is turn your ignition on, let it cycle, shut it off, hit your right and left turn signal at the same time. And on your dash, if you look up close here, I'll show you, it will say T-Sport mode active. That means that this bike's in transport mode. Same thing, shake the bike, put it in a trailer, something like that. You don't have to worry about security going off. To take it out of transport mode, just turn your ignition on, turn your switch on, and you're good to go. All right, so this next one's going to be if you have a 23, 24, anything that's going to be twin cooled. Now on your limiteds, you of course have your radiators and your fans down here in the lowers. You can manually turn these fans on and off if you're in a parking lot, if you're in a parade, or whatever the case may be, and you want the fans to be on. If they're not on, all you do is turn your ignition on, and then all you're gonna do, take your throttle, you're gonna roll it back and hold it, and you're gonna hear the fans kick on. Now your fans are internally on, and that's going to suck out a lot of that heat from that motor to cool that thing down in return. Now this is gonna work on your 23 model styles and on your 24s. Same exact thing. Flip your switch, put it in the on mode, let it fire up here, take your throttle, hold it back, and it kicks the fans on. Same premises, it's gonna blow the heat out of that motor, in return, gonna cool it down. Another really cool thing for the 23 models and down that have the GTS head unit is the fact that if you have low tire pressure or low fuel, it will actually pull up the nearest fuel station for you. All you do is click yes, and it will pull up the closest one to wherever your location is, hit the button and it will take you there if you're in an area that you don't know, which is pretty cool. The next thing we're gonna talk about is your docking hardware on your bike. So first off, your bike has 4-point docking hardware. That's what we're gonna call this, okay? It allows you to put on your backrest sissy bar, a luggage rack, a tour pack, things like that. You got your little clip here. You push up and you roll it forward on each side. That will rock this forward and come up. Now to put on your tour pack, it's gonna lock it down on the front one and in the rear to allow the tour pack to set stable here, so your passenger has a nice place to sit. And this is a big one. If your bike has the one-touch bags, with most 2014s and up do, you have these styles fasteners, okay? When you put these on, wait for a click, and that's it. Don't over tighten them, there's no need to. They will not come loose, and you're good to go. Now let's talk about soft tails. The day and age we live in now, there's a ton of different upgrades that they've done to these soft tails since the Dyna platforms and things like that. So I got a 24 Street Bob here, and I'll just kind of go over a little bit that you're gonna see on your soft tail model. So first off, this is gonna be your neck lock. When you get your bike, you should have 2 sets of keys on your ring. Now, you turn your bar to the left, you put your key in, lock it. That's going to lock the front end so it does, the bike won't steer straight. On your dash, most of your Softail setups, you're going to have your digital readout style dash here. On the top, you have your fuel gauge. You're going to have your odometer, or if you hit your trip button right here on the left, it will sort through, it'll show you RPM, the mileage, you're gonna have trip A, B, and range on the fuel so you know how much you got left on your tank. Down here on the bottom are your indicators, neutral light, left turn signal, oil light, check engine light, and things like that. Your breakout, it's gonna have forward controls. See how much forward it is. That's gonna allow you to stretch out a little bit more. And then you have your heritage. It's going to have your floorboards, more of a upright or mid-control setting position like you would have on your tour model bikes. On 2018 and newer models, no matter what Softail you're looking at, you have a keyless ignition. So all you're going to do is flip your switch on, as long as you have your fob, and your start button is going to be here. Turn signals, automatic turn off. And depending on, what model you have, you might have cruise control, but these are going to be the same. Highs and lows, horns, trip button, and your left turn signal. Now, I've been asked a lot, how do I know if my bike has ABS or not? Very simple. Let me show you a bike that has it. Now, whether you're looking at touring models or softail models, on your left-hand side up here on your axle, you'll have a sensor here. That's your ABS sensor. Along with that, if you look, you will have your front brake line, and you'll have another line coming off of that. That's going to be your ABS line. It's the same thing for your touring models and on your softail models. So I got a street bob here. Here's your sensor. And if you follow the line, you got your brake line. Then you have your cable for the sensor itself. Now, one of the big questions I get is service intervals. When do I need to get my oils changed? What do I need to do things like that for maintenance wise? Now, it's really important to obviously take care of your motorcycle. I know a ton of guys will go out, put 50,000 miles on their bike and change the fluid twice, and that's just silly. You're investing a lot of money into these things. So first off, everyone's going to break their bike down a little bit differently. What we tell our riders is the first 500 miles, keep it under 3,500 RPMs. Don't beat on it. That next 500 miles, ride it however you want to ride it. At that 1,000, you're going to do your 1K service. Now, this 1K service is very important. Even if you do your own, service intervals and things like that, bring your bike to the dealership. This isn't me saying it because I work for a dealership. At that 1K, they're going to do full inspection, tighten the critical fasteners, check your belt tensions, check everything on that bike to make sure everything's the way it should be, and then get you back out on the road. Now, tires. I get asked all the time about tires. How long should tires last me? Got a really hard question to answer. For me, I got like 7,000 miles on my rear tire right now, and it needs to be changed. It all depends how you ride. On average, you see people getting 20, 25,000 out of a tire. Now, there's a whole lot more to go over with you when it comes to set the bike up, with that suspension per weight and things like that. I appreciate you guys for coming to hang out at Ride or Rod. Find this video helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so I can get some more videos out to you guys like this. Get out, get on your motorcycle, and go ride. Take it easy.